I think it's more important to have a higher GPA. Often some of the programs that you apply to, like for grad school afterwards, it doesn't really matter what major you have. GPA is really important when you're on your application.
And so having that high GPA will kind of make you qualified for a lot of jobs, because in that respect, a way that many employers weed students out is just kind of having this GPA cutoff. So if you have like a 3.5, like you're a very competitive candidate in terms of applying for jobs.
And there are other ways to supplement what you want to do after school other than major. For instance, if you are like a biology major but you're interested in business management, you can join the business fraternity on campus, or use some of your extracurriculars to supplement your resume so that it's geared to what you want to do after school.
I struggled most academically with my courses that I decided to take specifically in my first semester. My course load was just too rigorous for what I was prepared for at the time, especially transitioning from just going from high school into college.
Choosing the right courses as a first year is very difficult, especially during orientation. Everyone's signing up for classes. A lot of the classes that you want to take are going to be filled. So take classes that complement each other. It'll make your workload a lot easier.
If you're in the humanities, I think it's really important to try and take courses that are complementary to one another. And by complementary, I mean courses that have some sort of cross-section in terms of the material. I found that once I started doing that, it was a lot easier to maintain and manage my workload, and it also reinforced my understanding of a lot of the information that I was learning.
Taking summer courses is kind of a mixed bag depending on what you're planning on doing with that summer course, or even what subject the course is. A lot of year-long courses that you would take during the summer, I found that with so much information from a year packed into, or at least a semester packed into 4 weeks, it can be extremely difficult. But when we're talking about a lab or something in a science course, then a summer class is ideal, because usually they'll have to strip down the lab a little bit, which may make it easier for you.
The lab classes, a lot of the chemistry labs in the summer are really nice, especially organic chemistry lab in the summer is far better than during the school year. You'll definitely find that out.
The best advice I got before coming to college about how to be successful was to look at the syllabus.
If you are able to access the syllabus before you take the course, then definitely it's a good idea to preview it, just so you know what to be prepared for and you know what to expect in the course.
Also, you'll see what type of work that you'll have to do for that class. For instance, if you're not good at taking a multiple choice exam and you see that you have only 3 exams and they're multiple choice, then you might not do well in that exam in that class. So you might want to take a look at the syllabus and just email the teacher and see if it's a good fit for you.
Face-to-face time with professors is important, especially during office hours, because I found that kids in college, they don't necessarily go to office hours. I mean, teacher always, you get a class of 150 people and they say we have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you go to office hours and there's one other kid in there, and if you don't understand something, chances are someone else doesn't understand it as well. So you're getting just a little bit of an advantage from getting some face-to-face time with the professor, because then you'll get tailored help for yourself. As well as if the professor knows your name, I mean, the possibilities are endless there, because you've got somebody that you can talk to, you've got someone that can write you recommendations later, and I think most people find that professors are pretty interesting. So.
Honestly, I didn't do this, but I think the best time to do your work is during the daytime, like in between classes. Late at night, you'll be in the dorm lounge, you'll be hanging out with your friends, like no one's really doing any work. You'll be in there watching YouTube videos. You'll just be doing silly little things like that, and you'll find that if you're hanging out with all your friends at night that you're not really going to get the work that you need to get done. You'll end up procrastinating, and then next thing you know, it's 7 in the morning. It's like, oh, I have this paper due at like 12 in the afternoon. So
the advice that I would give first years in terms of getting internships would be definitely to attend many of the career fairs that are offered or hosted at the university, because it's a great way to get to meet recruiters from so many different companies. And when you are applying, so if you are applying to a company and you have met the recruiter, it kind of gives a face to that application. Definitely networking is a really, really huge aspect to kind of getting, to kind of landing that first internship.
If I knew I had an interest in something, I just would look on the health system wall of physicians and literally pick somebody, give them a call. I must have put out something like 53 to 60 emails, and was lucky enough to get a couple hits. Other methods were just simply walking around, introducing yourself and your interests, and following up with those people.
During my first year, the course I struggled with most academically was chemistry, and if I could do it all over again, I would possibly begin my pre-medicine track my second year, just to use. And I say this just because I think it would have been better to have used my first year to get accustomed to university, build up a really, really strong GPA, and then dig deep into my pre-medicine courses, which I probably would have been better prepared.
The breadth of knowledge that you're going to end up attaining during the college science classes, it's a lot more and a lot more intense than high school courses.
Yes, the science courses in college versus the science courses I took in high school, they are graded much differently. In college, there is a bell curve, and it maintains that certain percentage of the class gets a certain grade, while the other percentage gets a grade that's below average. And it can affect some people, it can help some people, it just depends.
You have to kind of pay attention to where certain TAs are placed, because based on your TA, your section is going to be, either more successful or less successful than the other class. If you get an easier TA, that means your entire class is going to do well. If your entire class does well in that ranked section, then what grade you actually came out with, or that you actually achieved, you're going to come out with. On the other hand, if you picked a poor TA and you did just as well as if you had a good TA, and you were in that ranked class section, or you were below those other two sections, you would end up with a C+, or a lower grade, a B- or a B.
My first year, I definitely didn't understand how important it was to meet with your dean regularly. The high school that I came from, I thought that the deans were more like disciplinarians, sort of like my assistant principal. Once I got here, though, I realized that they're more like my guidance counselors, and they're really invested in making sure that I stay on course and do well and perform the best that I can. Once you figure out what it is you want to do, the dean is really instrumental in helping you select your courses and make sure that you meet your requirements, and consider the things that you may not be considering while you are just trying to maintain a GPA.
I'd recommend not getting into a whole bunch of different organizations. You'll spread yourself really thin. You'll find yourself battling study time versus time spent with your organization. So I'd recommend just picking maybe like one or two that you like. Then you can really give a lot of time to that and to your studying. And then as you grow older in that organization, you have the opportunity to run for offices, and that looks really great on resumes.
One resource that I don't think students take enough advantage of is the Office of African American Affairs. The deans there and the advisors there are all really instrumental in making sure that students stay on the track that they want to be. They're all really receptive too, and it's okay to reach out to them if you have a problem.
Yeah, I definitely think OAAA is a good resource. I personally didn't even know about OAAA until my second year. And I wish I had known about it first year, especially, in terms of like free printing and study sessions for different courses. And it's definitely a department that helps specifically Black students to sort of be successful in their college career.